I went to Kapiti College, Horowhenua. I had an opportunity to come down here in the Sports Institute of Otago when John Haggart was taking it, and for me, I always dreamed of being a professional rugby player, but coming down here and being involved with that was sort of just got a bit of a understanding on what it takes to be a professional rugby player, and then sort of being involved with some of the guys that are on the course with me that already played New Zealand schools, New Zealand 19s at a higher level, and then just rubbing shoulders with them sort of opened up a few more doors for me, and I learned a lot through that course, and I think that year, and then it sort of led on to other things, making Otago Colts, and then the following year Otago Rugby Academy, and then I sort of got involved in the Otago setup after that, and I was away after that pretty much. So
just touch on your college. I mean, Kapiti College isn't a big rugby school, is it, particularly?
No, Christian Cullen's from there, so I suppose that's a bonus. It's not a bad person to come from your schools. So, as a co-ed school, was my mum moved down there for work, and I had a younger brother. It was quite a sporty school, like even though it was small. I mean, I played in our first 15, and we only won Premier 2 in Wellington, but that was still quite big because it was just a little town on the coast to do that, which was quite well. We had a good basketball team as well. My younger brother was quite a good basketball player, so we sort of played basketball on Friday, and then we all played rugby on Saturday. And I played a bit of league too for the men's team, the local men's team there. So sort of weekends were quite busy playing sport. It was a good life though, by the beach, and it was good. Really enjoyed growing up there. Made some good friends.
So through the ranks in Otago, but first opportunity, first class was Northland?
Yeah, I was in the Otago squad 2002, 2003, but obviously back then, there's some pretty good loose forwards and the likes of Tane Randall, and so I was pretty much at the bottom of the pecking order there, and opportunity come up to play for Northland, so and I was pretty keen to play first division rugby, so I got loaned out there and never come back.
Well, you did make an impression enough for the Crusaders to pick you up, so just a wee taste of Super Rugby then.
Yeah, that was an awesome experience. For me, probably it was pretty mind-blowing. At that stage, I sort of always dreamed of playing sort of Super 14. I mean, I was lucky enough to be called in a couple of times in 2003 to the Highlanders, but it wasn't until you actually get that phone call and you're in the Crusaders. It was pretty. I think at the time I was a little bit blown away, and probably I was a little bit underdone when I went there. When I think about it, because I hadn't had that real. Been in a real professional sort of environment, and had that sort of. I remember going in there, seeing Mose Tuilei, and I remember when he played for Northland back in 2003. We were both pretty even as players, sort of fitness, sort of speed wise. And then 3-4 years later, when I finally went there, he was miles ahead of me.
Rugby life in Japan, quite different.
Yeah, it is. My first year I lived in Tokyo, so that's pretty mind-blowing, It's a massive city when you put it into context, there's 4 million people that live in New Zealand. I mean, there's 12 million alone just live in Tokyo in Japan, so it was an awesome experience. I got a lot of respect for the Japanese, their culture, the people, just the way, it's such a tidy country, and I like their sort of, their beliefs, their morals, the youngsters respect their elders. I mean, over there you could drop your wallet in a train, and, half an hour later, someone will hand it in and give $300-400 in it. And it's safe for the kids, we'd leave our house and car unlocked, and so when you come back to New Zealand, when I always used to come back from Japan, I'd be like, oh, that's right, got to go back and lock the car because I'd forget. And, you sort of realise you're back at home again. So I talked to Jamie first about, because last year he rung me up because I was interested in coming as injury cover after the Brumbies game last year. But my Japanese coach, because I was still contracted to Japan, wouldn't release me, so it didn't work out. And then just during the year, I just made contact with him again, and because I was off contract, I said I'd be interested in coming back, and that's where that sort of all fell into place. And then when he came over to Japan, because Jamie obviously has affiliation with my Japanese club, he was there for 8 years, so he's had a massive influence on that club So he comes over every year and does sort of spot coaching. So he came over and we talked about it, and I said, yeah, I'll be keen. And then Andre Bell was there at the time doing a bit of coaching, and we sort of said to Jamie, what if we should get Forney? And then, no one really thought it. Wasn't until he actually dropped the idea, and then, Brad Fawn, and then we dropped the idea to Forney, and then, it just all fell into place. And then once they met and talked about it, it's sort of like two peas in a pot, really. Those two, they're sort of quite alike, really. So it worked out well, and I think like having someone like Brad, it's good for the younger players. I mean, personally, I found him awesome. I've been over in Japan now for the last year and a half, and he's such a sort of driven, sort of goal orientated sort of a person. So and he has that sort of influence on people around him. So obviously, if he sees you got potential, he'll tell you, and if he believes in you, he'll sort of encourage it and back you. I think that's what he did with me. So I just worked out with him for the last year and a half, and pretty much everything he knows and learnt, he sort of passed it on to me, and I just sort of took it with both hands, and it's been awesome. And sort of now. It wasn't that long ago, we were sitting in Japan and it was snowing in the backyard, and then here we are up at Greenstone looking out, just buzzing out about it, like how awesome it is to be here. Who would have thought? So it's pretty awesome when things like that in life happen, and you sort of appreciate it a lot more than. So it's pretty special. It's been awesome.
One part of your career we haven't talked about, just briefly, representing New Zealand Maori. That must have been one of the highlights? Yeah,
definitely. And I think that was one of the other reasons why I stayed up in Northland, because the Donnie Stevenson was the assistant coach and New Zealand Māori's coach, and also the coach, and he sort of had influence on me getting in that team. And, so it was always a dream of mine to be a Māori All Black. So I achieved that. So I was pretty happy with that. So that was always my goal. And I'm the first in my whānau Paringatai to wear a jersey, so that was a huge honour, and something I always sort of cherish.
All right, well, the good thing about coming here is the whole environment, apart from the new stadium, which wasn't here when you were brought up. You knew where you were coming to. Yeah, well, it's quite funny, like walking back over to Logan Park and into that change room. Seems like a bit of a dungeon now when you compare it to this, but I think personally, I've just not sort of done one big cycle, and here I am back to where it all started. And I started at the Southern Club. I got a lot of time from there, and they're good people, Reggie, and I've popped down there a couple of times already, and it's sort of quite, how can I say it? Yeah, just good memories and connections.
Yeah, just awesome, because they see me as a young fella. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden here I am 10 years later, and I've sort of lived that life of a professional rugby player, and I've lived overseas and achieved things like you dream of when I first started out at that club, and then to be able to come back, and they're obviously pretty proud of what I've done, and it's good to be able to come back and show face and sort of help out, and sort of in a funny sort of way saying thanks for
What, will you stick around after Super 15, or just see how the land lies, perhaps? Yeah,
I've signed here for 2 years, so I've got to look at our ITM Cup team now. So I was sort of just hoping to come back here first and get involved with the Highlanders, and hopefully get some game time, play well, and then those sort of things, they fall into place. So that's what I was sort of hoping for. Yeah,
it's a great opportunity this year, isn't it?
Oh mate, it's awesome. That's one thing I really like down here. The boys are all grounded, and they're good guys, and just being part of the team up at Greenstone, and even the camp in Wanaka, it's pretty special. I've never been in a team like that before, where all the families and whānau and that are all involved, and it's sort of like Jamie was saying, like a deeper commitment, and you can sort of see the reasons why they sort of do that, and get everyone on board. And obviously, we've got a very good team, so. There's obviously, with that team, there's a lot of expectations, so just hope we can just come together and stay injury free, and hopefully come into the year we'll be thereabouts.